those point spreads. These very men also release weather reports, injury reports, statistical reports, and reports about reports. They became known as the four-legged henchmen, tied at the hip, never seen apart from one another. They lived in a windowless basement in Las Vegas and dominated the gambling world. One of them went by the name of Norman, the other by Chubsy Wubsy. Norman and Chubsy were to gambling what Duraflame is to fire logs. What Grape Ape was to cartoons, trailblazers, men ahead of their times. What Mr. Whipple was to Charmin toilet paper. I now present to you the offspring of those two men, their grandchildren, Boomer Esiason and Craig Carton. NFL Picks, made possible by Tommy Copper. Learn about wearable wellness today at TommyCopper.com. By Brothers Supply, brothers from another mother, your number one source for ice air P-Tax, water source heat pumps, and fan coils. And by Angelo's, the best Italian restaurant at the Ridge Hill Shopping Center in Westchester County. Try the 1 pound meatball. They dare ya. And now here are Boomer and Carton's NFL picks.
All right, here we go. NFL picks. You ready, Booms? I'm ready, right? We got the Giants, we got the Jets. We each pick a third neutral game. And then, of course, after that, Boomer gives you his tease, and I'll give you a lock of the week. So, Boomer, you want to go with your neutral game first? Go ahead.
I'll take my neutral game first. I do believe that Ben Roethlisberger will be playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's why I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers as an underdog, 2.5 points on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, Craig, I'm buying the hook, so I'm going to take all 3 points for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers get their season back on track, and I am expecting Ben Roethlisberger to play. So they go into Baltimore, and this game is always close between these two teams, and it's always nasty, and Baltimore's actually had some success the last 3 times they played Pittsburgh in Baltimore. But I think this changes this week.
I have to change one thing. It is a pick'em game.
Now it's not a pick'em game in front of me here.
It is now the spread has changed. It's now a pick'em game.
When did that happen?
It happened. So
when did that happen?
When did that happen? I'm sorry, but that is a pick'em game now. Does that change your pick?
No.
All right, he's taking the Steelers straight up. No hook needed. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, Booms. You know, there's a team that's been reeling lately, a team that's been struggling over the course of the last couple of weeks, a team that just lost its offensive coordinator, which makes no sense at all. Minnesota Vikings are back home, and they're laying 6 to the Detroit Lions. Seems like every Lion game that they play is a close game. They're very fun to watch. They're very similar to the San Diego Chargers in that they're never dead. They're never out of a game. The difference is that they win a little bit more than San Diego does. And yet I'm going with the Vikings. You've said many times on this show, the Vikings at home are a different team. If they get back home, they're possibly reeling from the loss of North Turner, but maybe that's a good thing for them. I think they find their offense again. I'll take the Vikings. I'll lay 6. Spread's high. I don't like it that high. That's why I like it. Vikings laying 6 against the Lions. I'll take Minnesota. All right, we now go, since both games are at 1 o'clock, no particular order. The Dolphins are favored by 3.5 over the Jets. What do you want me to tell you? The Jets, I love taking the Jets with points, I'll tell you that much. I don't think either one of these teams is going to score a lot. I'm not taking the Jets this game because I think they're going to win the game, because I don't. I think the Jets suck. That being said, in what I think will be a low-scoring game in which there'll be over 60 carries from scrimmage, I will take 3.5 all day long. And although I don't like it, I begrudgingly take the Jets plus 3.5.
Wow. Yeah, I know it's tough to take Ryan Tannehill, right? And the way that they're running the Jets' run defense, Ryan Fitzpatrick thinks that they can win every game on the rest of their schedule.
Well, he's wrong. Will they go to 4-5?
I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, are you, Billy?
I'm taking Miami, and they're plus 3.5 right now.
They're minus 3.5.
And minus 3.5. I mean.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Dolphins minus 3.5.
And now we go to the Giants and the Eagles.
Tough one.
Listen, I think you take the team off a bye at home. Eagles have now shown some warts. Tough game last week, of course, against the Cowboys. Not sure if there's any carryover from that, playing a late game and going to overtime. Carson Wentz is now feeling what it's like to be a tested rookie, a guy that maybe is a little confused now by what defenses are thrown his way, a guy that doesn't have wide receivers he can count on. And I do think coming off a bye week, the Josh Brown thing's way in the rearview mirror now. They're healthy. I think the Giants, I keep saying it, I got to be right one of these weeks, are going to put together one of those offensive performances that I think they're capable of. If not, then I think the offense is truly broken. I'll take the Giants. I'll lay the 2.5. I'll be at the game. I'm not picking the Eagles ever anyway because I hate Philly. I'm spanking a pig in either lot E, F, or G. Haven't decided which yet. And I'm going to be pulling for the Giants because when it's not my team playing, if it's a local team playing against Philly, I take the local team. Giants in a rout, 30-10.
I always think that the Eli struggles against the Eagles, and something always happens to the Giants against the Eagles, it seems like, in MetLife Stadium. Am I right? Am I right?
You're right.
This is why I'm going against it. I actually felt earlier this week, and really felt all the way up until yesterday, that the Eagles were going to win this game. That I would have taken the Eagles, the points, the whole thing, would have brought it up to 3, all that stuff.
You're talking tough.
But Josh Huff just gets kicked off the team.
Oh.
That's a story. I don't care what anybody
He had a
says.
98-yard return for a touchdown. He had 13 catches.
What are the Eagles coming off of?
A bad Sunday night. Well, bad, but a tough Sunday night loss.
In overtime. So there were 2 teams last week that played in overtime and then traveled. Those 2 teams happened to be the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And they were favored pretty much. I don't know if the Cardinals were favored, but they were playing in Carolina. They're terrible. And the Seahawks were playing against the Saints.
Right.
What happened to both teams?
They lost.
They both lost because they expended so much energy. Now, those guys had to come all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Someone did his homework.
But I just think that the Eagles may be a little bit tuckered out right now. And I also think that Carson Wentz are being way, way too careful with him. And I love the way the Giants defense played it over in London. I'm going to take the Giants here, Craigie. And I'm going to give the 2.5 points.
Nice. And, of course, before we get to your teas, there's one last game we have to pick today. And that game, of course, is the New York Knicks getting 6.5 from the Chicago Bulls. Lay the wood, right?
Oh, yeah.
Scallywag. All right, time for Boomer's Teas now. Boomer's Teas is brought to you by his love of a certain kind of meat.
I love sausage.
Okay, there you have it. Let's go, Booms.
Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually going to cross 0 twice in this week's teas. First, I got to take the Steelers. Since you told me to pick them, I had them plus 13.5, or 12.5, but I'm going to take them at plus 10.
This Boomer Teas brought to you by his favorite instrument.
He plays a skin flute. All right. I'm also going to take the Vikings plus 4 at home. Now, do you know who the new offensive coordinator?
You're crossing 0, man. I told you don't cross 0.
I'm going to do it twice. And the last couple times that I've crossed 0, it's actually worked. You know who the offensive coordinator in Minnesota is now?
No.
It is Pat Shurmur. Who was he?
Yeah.
He was the former tight end coach there underneath Norv Turner.
Yeah.
I think the rub came here because Shurmur wanted to do different things for Sam Bradford. Shurmur has actually had a lot of success with Bradford at the Rams and at the Eagles.
Fair enough.
Hence, Norv Turner walked out the door, and now there's a new voice in Bradford's ear.
No, you're not crossing. You're crossing 0. You're taking
Tease me. Plus 4.
And when Boomer gives picks like that, you know what we all do.
Stiffy.
That's right.
And then, who's on the road? Who's playing a team that hasn't won a game this year?
The Dallas Cowboys are laying, I think it's 6.5.
I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys.
Tease me. Just to win, right?
At 3. I think it's either 3. Is it 6.5? I'm going to take them at 3.5 points, plus 3.5 points over the Cleveland Browns.
Tease me.
You have it. You got the Steelers plus 10, Vikings plus 4, and the Cowboys plus 3.5.
Tease me. I don't like crossing 0. I hope you win, though. I hope you all win. Now they tell me it's time for Craig's Lock of the Week. Brought to you by Top Lock Locksmiths.
Let's lock it up.
Thank you, sweetheart. And security. Well, of the 3 games I picked, my lock of the week is the Minnesota Vikings. So we're in lockstep on that one, courtesy of Top Lock Locksmiths and security. Ain't that right, Steve Summers?
My take.
That's a whole different thing, sir.